here in Miami, Florida, at the first presidential debate where a major issue on everyone's mind here in Miami is climate change. It is among the top 3 2020 election issues for Florida Democrats, and 71% of all Florida voters polled say they support government action to address climate change. And as we discussed on this very show, local leaders across cities are taking on the challenges that the federal government might not be. That includes here in Miami, where they are already investing heavily in combating rising sea levels. Joining me now is the Republican mayor of this town, Miami Mayor Francis Suarez. Mayor, to say you're spending is an understatement. A $400 million program, that is a huge price tag for a city to address something like climate change. But you say urban issues, they're not partisan. The city just needs it.
They're not. At the end of the day, they're existential threats to our livelihood, to our quality of life. And our residents understand, it's not common for them to vote to tax themselves. This was actually a voter-approved bond. And it not only goes to sea level rise and climate change, but it also goes to affordable housing, cultural facilities, and parks, which all enrich our quality of life in the city of Miami and make the city more attractive for others to come here.
Is climate change something abstract, or should we look at it basically as flooding? When people in this city say, this is my biggest issue, I need the government to focus on it, do they call it climate change?
I think semantics are important in the city of Miami. I think some have no problem. I have no problem calling it climate change or sea level rise. I think others in the city might prefer it be called flooding. But the fact of the matter is, rather than focusing on the causes, sometimes we need to focus on the effect. And obviously, you see the images of flooding in our city. And certainly, those are things that cannot be ignored. When we have a 6 to 8 foot storm surge in a hurricane and Brickell's 3 to 4 feet underwater, right where we are right now, that's something that has to be addressed, that we have to focus on. We cannot ignore it. A mayor cannot ignore that.
By whom? Does the federal government need to step in? Because what you're doing is Miami helping Miami. That's why the federal government.
That's why we call it Miami Forever, because we want to be around forever. We want to be around for my children's grandchildren. But we certainly need help from other governments. We've gotten $2 million from the state to upgrade our stormwater master plan, which will allow us to spend the $200 million in resiliency very effectively. But certainly, I believe that the federal government should be involved in anything infrastructure related, whether it be resiliency, whether it be transportation, affordable housing, etc. And that's certainly what, as mayor, I'm trying to convince the federal government to do.
Have you been successful? We're hearing from mayors across the country that Washington gridlock is getting them nowhere.
What we're trying to do is prove that we are different, that we're unique, that we're a scalable model. For example, most cities, like you said, don't borrow money for issues like this. We've borrowed $200 million just for resiliency, $100 million just for affordable housing. I don't know that there's another city in America that has done that. And so what we want to project to the federal government is, look, leverage, use us as leverage. We're about to approve tomorrow $8 million in affordable housing that is going to provide 600 units of affordable housing just with $8 million. So we want to prove a track record that the federal government can use us as sort of a pilot program that we can scale up nationally for other cities.
Well, Miami residents don't want to tax themselves. They want the federal government to work for them. So what do people here want to see on that debate stage tonight?
What they want to see is the candidates address these existential issues. I mean, issues like affordable housing, traffic, resiliency, quality of life. Those are the issues that matter to residents every single day. They want to make sure that the federal government is going to be part of the solution. They're paying those taxes, by the way. They pay them in income taxes. We pay a lot of income taxes. And so they voted to tax themselves above and beyond those income taxes. So I think what they want to see from all the candidates is solutions.
Solutions, not just slogans.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.